Hello and welcome to the review of the Proxima PX1701. This was a present from my wife, um, and a very good present at that. Let me get out the official specs out the way. These are from the Proxima official website. As I mentioned already, the model number is PX1701. They actually make a wide variety of watches using this same case and bracelet, but the bezels, the dials are different, the handsets, etc. And most of the watches that they make are very nice. I do have favorites. But this is number one for me in this shape format, in this case shape format. And I will pop up here on the screen on the right side a couple of photos of some other models that are very attractive. So this watch does come in two different bezel inserts. This is the more expensive version, which adds 25 USD, and the cheaper version is a ceramic bezel insert. Both are very nice. It's just more expensive to produce the sapphire bezel inserts. Same applies to their other watches as well. This is a sapphire insert. This is a Proxima watch, and this bezel insert costs almost twice as much as the ceramic version. So the lume on the dial is BGW9 Swiss Superluminova. The case material is 316L stainless steel. The diameter, excluding the crown, is 39 millimeters, and the case thickness is 11.5 millimeters, which is quite thin for a 200-meter diver. And it is a 200-meter diver, as claimed from their website. The lug width is 20 millimeters, which is great for changing the straps. It's a very common size, but the bracelet is so nice. I have not even tried this on a strap. I haven't. The bracelet is just perfect, very comfortable. I'll get into details. The lug to lug is 45.4 millimeters, so that's also quite short. The band is the same stainless steel 316L material. The glass, it has a double arc sapphire glass with AR coating. The AR they've used before on the SBDX001 models is all blue, a blue AR coating, so I don't know. It's, yeah, this is also blue. You can barely see the haze. It's more difficult to notice the AR coating on this version, as the see-through dial here is also blue, so it takes away that blue tint that the AR coating usually carries. So in this case, a perfect combination. The movement that I have in here is a PT5000, but you can get this with an SW200 movement, and that adds another 130 USD to the price. The version that I have here currently, without any sales and discounts, costs 284 USD. The version with the sapphire, the ceramic bezel insert will cost you $260. It has a screw down case, and the weight is reported as 102 grams, which I will quickly check that now, because I know that with the bracelet it's 133, 31. Actually, I have this tilted a bit. So there you go, 133, 134. 133 grams. Okay, 132. So the watch has quick release spring bars with these flat ends on the pins instead of round that you usually get, and this is very nice. It allows to grab onto those pins much easier. I also want to point out that taking off this bracelet and putting it on is significantly easier than many of my other quick release stainless steel bracelets. The tolerances are just perfect, where they're very good not to show the gaps. There are no gaps, visible gaps in between, but the lugs, the end link does slide into the lugs and out of the lugs very easy. So I noticed that. Okay, so yeah, I would imagine this would be a very nice option for a variety of straps, and that is 55 grams. Okay, so the weight that Proxima has on their website must be for a combination without stainless steel, so probably with a rubber or FKM strap. It would come out to 102 grams. And as I'll show you here shortly, FKM straps actually do weigh quite a bit, not as much as a stainless steel watch, a stainless steel bracelet, but quite close. As I was saying, installing this back in is very easy, and the spring bar clicks into place without any issues. You don't have to fiddle with it, you know, jiggle it around, etc. Again, like some of my other quick release straps, actually costing a bit more than this, but AliExpress watch manufacturers are getting the hang of it, and they're now making huge leaps in their production quality. So they're making significant improvements, is what I'm trying to say. I wasn't holding down the pins well, but once you grab a hold of both of those and you place this in, as I said, no jiggling needed, nothing. It takes me much longer, for example, to put back the bracelet on the Ixendao Serica homage, the 5303 homage. It takes forever. So I really appreciate when the manufacturer does proper R&D and looks at such details. Let me temporarily get the weight scale out of the way. So after getting through with the official dimensions and measurements, etc., it does not have a signed crown. If you can see here, the crown sits very close to the bezel insert, but does not touch it. There is about a half a millimeter, and there's no touching the bezel and the crown, even though it sits very close to the case. And I actually appreciate that, as opposed to something like this sticking out farther and digging into your wrist. So a very nice execution. The other thing, obviously, I like the dial very much. The handset, exquisite. Let me see if we're able to look at some of the details here. It has a kept seconds hand. The indices are polished to perfection. They have facets, and they're not your usual dive watch thick indices with thick, or I should not say thick, maybe I should specify wide layering of the Lume. Instead, it is very exquisite, very thin, delicate, and more of a dressy type of approach to the design. And aside from the coloring, this is a nice dressy watch. The coloring meaning there is a bit of punchy colors here with this orange and stuff, and won't necessarily look too good on a suit. But otherwise, for example, if you get different colors, if you get the black ceramic insert, a very nice watch. Another detail that I do want to point out, and Proxima gets this right every time, is this line of steel in between the glass and the sapphire insert. So the ceramic does not go directly against the glass. There is a steel layer in between. I have not taken this apart. There's two possibilities, or no, that's fixed. So this is fixed and not part of the bezel. That is the lip into which the glass will press into, as opposed to something like this, which also has this metal ring around, but that is part of the rotating bezel. So as you rotate the bezel, the steel ring also rotates. In this case, it is a fixed ring, but still adds that flair, a bit of distinguishing factor to the watch. And I always appreciate this and prefer having this type of setup as opposed to something like this that has ceramic straight to glass. Or this can be ceramic or a variety of materials, whether it's aluminum, a steel bezel insert, sapphire, etc. Still, it is straight from the sapphire insert to the glass of the watch, whereas these two versions have that steel ring around. Also, I want to show you a couple of other Proxima dials to underline the quality that Proxima has on their dials. I have two more build videos coming up on Proximas, and these are the dials that I'll be using. One is this green dial, and these come in a kit with this proprietary chapter ring. And I'll try to show you this dial in a bit more detail. As you can see, there is linear brushing, horizontal brushing, very, very high grid brushing, and then a very thin layer of this green paint. The dial is beautiful. It is a darker green, and once I do the build, I will show how this reacts to light and different angles of light. Very beautiful dial. Zero mistakes, zero defects, and I've seen plenty of defects on high quality dials from AliExpress. This is pure perfection. So that's one dial. And so is this dial and any other dial that I have from Proxima. I have never noticed a defect on their dials. Now I might be selective. I don't have all of their dials, but I should specify every single dial that I do have is flawless. This is another one. This is absolutely beautiful. The quality, again, zero defects, zero flaws, very good lume, very strong lume, and I'm quite happy with the quality that I'm receiving from this brand. If you're interested in these builds, please subscribe, stay tuned, and these are the builds that will be coming next. So let's talk about the crown. The crown winding action is actually very different from your NH35, 34s, NH38s from Seiko. Very different. The PT5000 movement is a bit more gritty. It takes a little bit of more force to wind, but it's a very nice feeling crown. Good action. I can say nothing bad about it. The clicks work fine. The tactile feel is there, and rotation of the handset is quite good. There's mechanisms, watch movements, that you have to do a lot of rotation to get some movement on your handset, but this is quite nice. And so you pop it back in, spring loaded, and it is a screw down crown. Obviously we have a 200-meter water resistance here. This is a homage of the Christopher Ward C60, which is a dive watch, and they came up with this shape that is referred to as a light catcher case. It has facets on the sides. It has actually several facets, very good polishing, and that's why it is called a light catcher case, because in different angles of light it just keeps giving out this line. You see a variety of corners and angles that react nicely against light, and that is continued down to the dial. The indices, as I've mentioned before, they're very nicely faceted on the sides, polished to perfection, including the handset, and so it gives a beautiful visual. The shape of the lugs is another important factor why I do like the watch and why it wears extremely well. This shape of the lugs coming down. Also, please note the shape of the individual links on the bracelet. They are not straight like this. The internal side of this is straight, as you can see, so it's not the best ergonomic shape to go around your wrist. Extremely comfortable though. I'll have a detailed review of that watch, but this one has very slight rounded shape on the inside as well as on the outside, so when it conforms to the wrist it makes a better oval shape. Out of all of the stainless steel wristwatches with steel bracelets, this is by far the most comfortable watch. And in fact, I mean, I have a number of watches. These two Proximas are the by far the most comfortable watches to wear on full metal. Now, considering this is titanium case and bracelet, and this is stainless steel, but they're actually exactly the same weight, these two. And because of the way the case backs are shaped, in this case as well as in this case, it just creates a perfect oval shape on your wrist. So let me quickly put that on. Here you go. It just blends to the wrist, and this is the type of watch that you forget you're wearing. So it does not have touch points that would be uncomfortable and would give you a constant reminder that you are wearing a watch or that you need to reposition it, it's bothering you, etc. This watch on my 7¼ inch wrist, I forget about it. Same with this one. The watch has an on-the-fly adjust clasp that is identical to the clasp from San Martin. It just does not have that sign, the San Martin logo here. The rest is identical in terms of the construction. I believe they're made in the same factory. These are probably made for Proxima, maybe by San Martin or the same factory that does it for both. The difference between this and the San Martin clasp that I have is that San Martin has 9mm in this link dimension, and I believe this is a bit more. Yeah, that's 10. So this is 10mm, the San Martin is 9mm, but that is because of the design on the rest of the bracelet. The clasps are the same. They have this very nicely executed on-the-fly adjustment that gives you this much space. Sorry, that was a bit too quick. You may not have seen it. Let me close it down. So it has 5 adjustments, about 1mm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So plenty of additional, all of this is additional length. That is more than enough for all your adjustment needs during the day, and would be enough to even use as a dive extension, so long as you're not using a very thick thermal diving suit. The things that I would actually like Proxima to upgrade, maybe on their future versions of this, usually they make runs of 100 pieces of each or 200, etc., depending on how the designs sell and how much the demand on them is. So this is a beautiful light catcher case, and the polished facets are nowhere to be found anywhere on the bracelet. The clasp has polished facets on both of the sides, very nice, and it would be logical, and I think would look very good to have the bracelet follow this facet, the polished facet, all the way through. Yes, these polished sides do get scratched up easy, It's better to have polished parts in the middle of the bracelet, as the sides protect the polish, but the case itself gets scratched up. It's just stainless steel, doesn't have any protective coating, and I don't mind my watches getting scratched up actually. That thin faceted line would still maintain its shine in different light conditions. So that's one thing that I would like to see on the future bracelets. And another, and this applies to the manufacturer of this clasp, and it's not Proxima that manufacture these clasps, I understand, but so there are some sharp edges, not very sharp, not cutting sharp, but sharp enough to, say, wear out a cuff on your shirt, or scrape up a leather jacket, or something that could catch onto these sides. The way the bracelet wears, you don't touch anything on the bracelet. Your wrist and skin does not contact anything on the bracelet shell, right? So you're touching this side with your wrist, but on the exterior, these corners I think should be somehow ground or polished, where just like to this standard, to be short. There's no sharpness on the bracelet anywhere, and it is a good feeling, nice feel on the bracelet. The only sharp corners are on these two edges, here and here. Do I recommend anybody to buy this watch? By all means. Any manufacturer making this type of watch, and any Western manufacturer making a similar watch with these specifications would definitely charge you at least 2 or 3 times the price, the going price for these Proximas. And Proxima is now a long time brand on AliExpress. They are very trustworthy. They work with their customers to make sure that the customer satisfaction levels are high. Prior to ordering, you can contact them. This watch, for example, was out of stock. My wife wanted to purchase it during the 11/11 AliExpress sale, and so when she searched, all of the these specific versions on steel bracelets were out of stock. So Proxima took the order. It took a bit of time to manufacture the watch and send it out afterwards. You can contact them for any customization options that they have available. They're, again, very responsive, nice and communicable people. And I trust the brand just because this is my very first watch off of AliExpress. It was not cheap. Purchased it about 10 years ago now, and it to this day is my most favorite watch out of my entire collection, and this is the second. The only reason why I prefer this is just because it is a tank of a watch, and it's titanium, and I use it and abuse it, as you can see on some of the battle scars and wounds that the watch has. It has held up phenomenally for the time period. It did not come on with this dial. It came with a red dial, an NH36 date dial that is very similar to this. Actually, it was this dial, but it just had burgundy red paint. I loved that dial. I damaged it by mistake, and then I wasn't able to replace it because Proxima doesn't make it anymore. Again, I purchased this watch 10 years ago, so I wasn't able to replace that. Now, I also wanted to mention one of the factors why the watch wears so comfortably is the weight. But you would be surprised, some of the rubber watch straps actually, as I mentioned, they weigh very close to steel straps. Okay, so we have 132 grams on the PX01. The titanium version of the SPDX001 weighs basically the same, 133. Now this is a stainless steel PVD coated SBDX001 Marine Master 300 homage, again from Proxima. It's just a different construction where it has these two screws and you can take out the monoblock. It leaves a shroud. This is actually a shroud, and I've also modded the case back similar to my titanium case back to make it flat. Anyway, long story short, the next builds that I will be uploading will be in these cases, so stay tuned if you're interested. So again, we have 133 on these two watches, and this guy weighs 143. So even though it is on an FKM rubber strap, it weighs 10 grams more than this titanium version of the same watch, 10 grams more than the stainless steel version of the PX001. And for a comparison, here is this is a Thorn Marine Master 200 homage. The bezel I have not glued it in yet. This will be one of my next builds. Something similar, you know, the Night Dive Seikos. This is the 62 mass version. This is the Marine Master 200 version. SBB 185 case from Thorn. The FKM rubber strap also from Thorn, and this weighs 96 grams. If we add a bit of movement, yeah, it'll go up to about 110 grams, including the movement dial and the handset. So I can't say that this is a light watch, but the standard for dive watches on full steel construction is about 140 to 180, the average acceptable weight. There are watches that exceed 200 grams, but they're just monstrosities mostly. So I guess I could say that this is on the lower side of dive watches in terms of its weight. But again, I need to underline, you forget you wear this watch. You forget because of the weight, but also the construction, the articulation of the bracelet, the fact that it has no sharp edges inside or on the exterior, and the case shape as well. I didn't talk about the bezel action. The bezel action is actually very nice, and I believe it suits this type of watch perfectly. The bezel is a very, very thin coin edge bezel, and it may actually look like it's a difficult bezel to grip. It logically should be, but the way they've done this coin edge surround, and because the lugs go down, it exposes the bezel just to the perfect position where you can very easily rotate the bezel. The Lume, I'll show you the Lume. Yeah, also I guess there is one more thing that I would like on the next iterations of the watch is a loomed date wheel. That I think would look nice even underneath the transparent dial. it would be an interesting look. So I'm not able to upgrade that because the aftermarket parts for PT5000 movements are very scarce compared to the NH35s. On the NH35 you can get your Lume day wheels, etc. A bit more difficult to source that for the PT5000. So let me now show you a Lume shot of several others also compared. None of these watches have seen the sun today, so they will all be from the UV torch. Let's see if they have any Lume as is. Yeah, they do. So again, this is going to be blue Lume as it is BGW9. The rest of them are C3 Lumes, green Lume. Actually, this is a rather surprisingly nice UV flashlight, very strong. Got it for 20 bucks. It includes a large 26650 battery, and it has a USB-C charging port. There we go. Now the PX1701, this watch is a skin diver. So it does not, as I said, doesn't have these huge wide handsets, wide indices filled with white Lume. It is more exquisite, more thin layered, but nevertheless it has very good Lume. It's just blue Lume. The bezel insert, as you can see, is also lumed. Here is another Lume C3. The bezel insert here is from Proxima, and it is also a lumed bezel insert. Same here. The date wheel here on this watch is actually BGW9 blue Lume. So that wraps up my review of the Proxima PX1701, this specific version. And again, if you like the idea of a transparent dial, seeing some of the mechanisms operating behind it, and just the color combinations, I strongly advise, if you are to buy this case shape, check this one out. It's a beautiful, beautiful watch, eye-catching, and very, very high quality. Now I need to let my dog out because she's making noises. Okay. Thank you very much for watching the review. I am trying to build the channel, and everything that I'm showing here is purchased with my own money. I am not sponsored by anybody yet, and so all of my reviews are unbiased. Even if and when I am sponsored, I will never bend the truth. I will always point out the good and the bad. And the whole idea of the channel is, if I like something and there is something to be modified on it, I'm okay to mod it and to bring it to the shape or the functioning that I want for my own needs. So I'm okay to mod, I'm okay with certain changes to be made to items. This is another one. So this is a brick. It's a Proxima case. SBDX001, almost ideal copy of the original Seiko Marine Master 300. I dislike this bulge strongly, which is why I mod all of my SBDX001s to be of this shape, which loses no water resistance at all. It is the same watch, same thickness on the case back. Anyway, please subscribe and push that notification button so that you can be informed of my future uploads of similar content. Thank you and have a good day.